G'day, and welcome back to the Vaxa Bureau Intelligence Optimised podcast, where we unpack the forces shaping Australia, the Indo-Pacific, and beyond. I'm Todd Crowley, and today we're stepping back from the noise to take a clear-eyed look at the 2025 Australian federal election. What's happened, what's at stake, and what's coming next. Australians will cast their vote this Saturday, May the 3rd. It's an election that feels different, not just because of the policies on offer, but because of the shifting political landscape itself, both in Australia and across the globe. How will macro issues such as events in the US, China, and Russia's ambitions for the region, monetary policies, and more shape the outcome? Do younger voters actually understand the importance of their vote? The past 3 years under the current government have seen changes, some applauded, some criticised, and a clear emergence of smaller parties and independents reshaping Australian politics. Let's start with Labor's term. After winning in 2022, Prime Minister Albanese promised stability, climate action, and a more respectful style of governance. In their first 2 years, Labor launched several initiatives. Climate Change Act of 2022, legislating net zero emissions by 2050. The $15 billion National Reconstruction Fund to rebuild manufacturing capacity. Driving major diplomatic resets with China and Pacific Island nations. And the introduction of cheaper childcare and expanding paid parental leave. What impacts, positive or negative, have these had on society? Have they actually worked? Challenges soon piled up though. The cost of living surged, energy bills increased, housing affordability worsened, and delivery on major defence programs lagged behind schedule, or worse, were cancelled. The Indigenous Voice to Parliament referendum, one of Labor's key social initiatives at a cost of $500 million, was overwhelmingly defeated, exposing deep national divisions. By mid-2025, many voters say they feel the government had been slow to respond to everyday pressures, particularly around housing, healthcare access and power prices. Heading into this election, the choice between Labor and the Coalition is sharp. Labor is offering a steady as she goes, building on current policies. Investment in renewable energy and net zero, expansion on Medicare urgent care clinics, $32 billion in housing programs, defence spending rising by 2.2% by 2030, but focused on longer-term capabilities, a cautious approach to industrial relations, maintaining stronger union influence. The Coalition under Peter Dutton is promising a course correction, fast-tracking nuclear energy and advanced munitions under AUKUS, rebuilding regional health systems, including rural hospitals and GP access, cutting approval times for major infrastructure and critical minerals projects, strengthening the construction watchdog to curb union excesses, and tougher migration controls to relieve housing and cost of living pressures. In short, Labor is banking on continuity, while the Coalition is offering a faster, harder shift towards security, infrastructure, and cost of living relief. But this election isn't just a two-horse race. Australia's political landscape is becoming more fragmented, and this could shape what happens after Saturday. The Greens are projected to maintain their current amount of seats, especially in the inner city electorates, pushing harder for climate action, rent controls, and Indigenous rights. The Teals, a socially progressive, economically conservative independents, are defending their strongholds in wealthy urban seats, campaigning for climate leadership and political transparency. Other independents, particularly rural voices, are pushing issues like water rights, regional health, and decentralisation. If neither Labor nor the Coalition can secure a clear majority, we would see a hung parliament where Greens, Teals, Trumpet of Patriots and other independents effectively hold the balance of power. This would make passing major reforms harder, but it could also force more collaboration, compromise and focus on specific policy areas neglected by the big parties. A volatile global environment, how much room Australia has for political compromise will be a critical factor. It's worth remembering Australia doesn't vote in a vacuum, and we tend to vote governments out, not in. Our choices shape our role in the Indo-Pacific at a time when the region is under immense strategic, economic and environmental pressure. Whoever forms government will influence Australia's credibility under AUKUS and Quad security arrangements, our energy exports and carbon market leadership, the resilience of our supply chains, agriculture and critical mineral sectors, how we are viewed by our closest allies and our competitors, and most importantly, our identity and culture whilst moving into uncertain times. The world is watching, not just to see who wins, but to see what kind of Australia emerges. So as Australians head to the ballot box this weekend, the choice is complex. It's about continuity versus change, big party visions versus emerging independence, and domestic policy priorities versus global responsibilities. At Vaxa Bureau, we'll continue to track these pivotal shifts, not just for the headlines, but for what they mean for Australia's future resilience and leadership. I'm Todd Crowley. This has been the Vaxa Bureau podcast. Stay sharp, stay informed.